No one is prepared for the end of Egghead. We know for a fact that at the end of this arc, we're going to have an incident so big and crazy it's going to shock the world to its core. But what exactly is the Egghead incident? Right now we have the Emperor's Straw Hat Pirates alongside Vegapunk battling against 100 Navy ships led by 9 Vice Admirals, the Admiral Kizaru, as well as for the first time one of the gorosei Saturn stepping foot out of Mirijawa, which is already a pretty big monumental moment. So many things are being set up for a crazy incident to transpire, so today we're gonna look at what we can expect from Egghead and this crazy incident. Could it be the death of Vegapunk, the defeat of the Admiral Kizaru, or maybe even the fall of one of the gods, the gorosei Saint Jaygarcia Saturn? What role will Kuma play, and what exactly is the plan of the Blackbeard pirates? This is the Egghead incident, the event that will shock the world and change the story of One Piece forever. So let's start with the Admiral Kizaru. A lot of people might think that Kizaru's defeat could be the shocking event that might happen. I personally don't think that's the case because it's obvious he's fighting one of the emperors. That's not really that shocking. In fact, a lot of people thought he was gonna get washed by Luffy and don't even think he stands a chance against Gear 5, which is kind of crazy. He's still an admiral. I think he will put up a good fight. But one of the main themes about this arc is the parallel it is with Shibodi Archipelago. Back then, 2 years ago, the Straw Hats were not ready for the big stage and they got wiped out. This time, we have seen that these guys are more than ready. They're now one of the emperors of the seas, one of the strongest pirate crews in the entire world, and now they're about to show why they're one of the emperors and will become the future Pirate King crew. They're finally gonna get their salty run back and defeat the admiral that embarrassed them years ago. But that's not just it, as there's also another parallel that's happening with this arc, and that is the Ohara incident. This arc is very similar to that, and it makes sense because Vegapunk and even Dragon were heavily influenced by the Ohara incident as they were friends with Professor Clover. And that island was wiped off the face of the earth because it had knowledge about the Void Century. But also Kizaru is in the exact same position as Kuzan was back during the Ohara incident. Will Kizaru end up getting a similar character arc? Because it's clear as day through multiple occasions he's stating he doesn't actually want to do this but is doing it because he has to. It's his duty. But will there be a point where his actual personal feelings will get in the way of his duty and we'll see the real Kizaru for the first time? Could we get a last shred of humanity and see Kizaru show defiance against the world government and save one of the Vegapunks and Straw Hats, similar to how Kuzan saved Robin? And both of these actions will change the course of history, as both of these will obviously lead to Luffy becoming the Pirate King and freeing the world. There also has been a theory that Kizaru could be defeated and replaced as an admiral. We have seen many times that in the pirate world, characters were replaced, the warlords and the emperors, but we've never actually seen that with the Marines in real time. And I do think the Marines are going to catch a heavy loss during this battle, which will make the world lose faith in not just the Marines, but also the world government. I don't think that will happen per se, but I do think it'd be very interesting because Kizaru is a very important asset and I do see him being there till the very end. But one person that might not be there till the very end is, of course, Saint Jaygarcia Saturn. Atlas just took control of the Pacifista as Vegapunk is the highest authority on the island, so they think, as Saturn is in the vicinity, and I think this will be his time to reveal himself and take control of the Seraphim and the Pacifista, as he is the highest authority above everyone. Why that was even the case, I don't know. Some people theorize there's a secret higher authority than them and it's actually Dragon, and this is actually according to Vegapunk and Dragon's plan. I think that would be cool. Again, I do think Dragon should show up during this arc because his best friend or one of his close friends is about to die. Kuma just went haywire, just left, doesn't know what's happening. Vegapunk called him, said, "Hey man, gonna die, bro," and he just saw on the news that Luffy is on Egghead, so you would think he's gonna show up. I don't think he has to see or meet Luffy. They could, you know, just two winds passing by one another, as I don't think Dragon and Luffy will reunite until after Luffy becomes Pirate King, because that's when both of them will have the exact same goal, and that is to take down the world government. But it would be cool nonetheless to see Dragon show up and even fight Jaygarcia Saturn. That'd be pretty damn sick. But I don't think that's the only reason Saturn is on this island. I think he will meet with Luffy for the first time in the story and will actually get some lore on not just the D clan but also the sun god Nika. This could be where Luffy learns the truth about his actual devil fruit and what it really is. Because at some point Luffy's gonna have to learn the truth of his power, because I don't even think he scratched the surface of what he's truly capable of. In fact, I think we could even potentially get a fight between the two, which would be monumental because we've never really seen one of the gorosei fight, but we do know they possess a power. In fact, when Sabo got jumped by them in Mary Joie, we seen each of the gorosei transform into something, so it's clear that these guys have a Zoan type devil fruit, most likely mythical, because at this point it would be kind of lame if one of the gorosei, the highest authority in the world government, had just plain old regular Zoan devil fruits. That'd be boring. Now, what exactly could these powers be? I'm not exactly sure. It looked like Saturn might be some sort of bull minotaur type thing. It is possible that these guys could have the powers of One Piece specific deities. That would actually be pretty cool, as all bets are off because Oda could basically do whatever he wants with them because they're One Piece specific gods, similar to sun god Nika. And each of these guys are actually called the warrior gods. So clearly these guys are pretty damn strong, as they're the guardians and gatekeepers of Emu, the king of the world. Saturn specifically is called the warrior god of science, which probably explains why he was the one that was sent to Egghead Island, the island of the future, and he most likely is the smartest one in the group, probably. Anywho, I do think it will be the defeat, kidnapping, or even death of Saturn that will shock the world to its core, because never in the history of One Piece have we ever seen one of the gorosei be defeated, let alone even leave Mary Joie. That's a monumental moment. And for them to finally meet with the Straw Hats, the crew that's been causing them trouble for so long, and this troubled Monkey D family, as well as meeting Robin, the person that basically they made the call to obliterate her family and the entire island. This has been a long time coming. And I do think a lot of us expect that these guys, the gorosei, are very strong considering they're called the warrior gods, but I don't think Saturn will get into a fight until after Kizaru has been defeated, as I don't see him revealing his true nature or even power to everyone until it's a last ditch effort. But also he's going to be in for a huge shock when he sees the legendary Iron Giant that was supposed to be disposed of 200 years ago has now awakened. It seems as though this robot has awakened due to the heartbeat of Luffy in Gear 5, maybe similar to Zunisha. It heard that Joy Boy has returned and thus has activated. Not that the heartbeat is actually the power source, but more so the key. We still need to know what exactly this power source is. A lot of people do theorize that it's most likely fire based, as Lilith earlier in the series, earlier in this arc, mentioned she wanted to make an eternal sun. Why would she want to make that? I have no idea, but we do know that the island, Egghead, is sourced by power as well. And we also know that Luffy is called, well, the sun god Nika, so I do think he has some fire-based abilities, and they might have used this eternal flame back in the day to power this up. And also, we do have a hint toward this, as the mother flame might have been actually be a power source rather than an actual weapon. And it was implied by Ivankov that this weapon to erase the Lucid Kingdom is an ancient weapon. With Dragon responds, why would they use an ancient weapon now if they had it the whole time? They would have been using it, and that's because they never had the power source to operate it, and that's where the mother flame comes in. So maybe there was a stronger power source like this that was used to operate the giant robot. But the interesting part is the giant robot was awakened 200 years ago prior to the story and attacked Mary Joie, which is very interesting because Kuma seems to be doing exactly the same thing. It awakened and went attacking Mary Joie. We don't know where Kuma is. I do think he will play a huge role His flashback might tie into God's Valley, and there is his special race. We don't know what's going on there, but I do think he is heading to Egghead after his little battle with Akainu. But anyways, this is actually when the fishmen officially joined the world government and actually went there for, I guess, the reverie possibly. And most likely the Poseidon was born around this time, so there might be a connection between the two. Anywho, I do think this thing's gonna cause mayhem once it starts moving, but another reason this could be the huge incident is actually the death of Dr. Vegapunk. I don't think all of the Vegapunk clones will survive. In fact, the only two I expect to survive is Lilith or the original Dr. Vegapunk. That'd be interesting, but I don't think that'll be the case. Now, one of the popular theories right now is that all the information on Punk records will be distributed throughout the entirety of the world by synchronizing everyone's mind to the brain. Now, this is Dr. Vegapunk's dream. He wants to connect everyone's brain so he can share a well of knowledge with Punk records, and it's possible that he can actually distribute the information they gathered by doing this. This would be very cool. I personally don't think this will happen yet until the end of the series when One Piece has been found and they've learned the Void Century. I could see them connecting everyone and letting Vegapunk's dream come true by spreading out the information of what really happened during the Void Century. This will cause absolute panic and mayhem. It would definitely be very cool. It's either that or Big News Morgans puts it in his newspaper and spreads it around. I think that makes most sense, but I do think the other option would be very dope. And of course, we can't forget about the Blackbeard pirates, as they're on the island as well. By process of elimination, it should be Katarina and Laffy, which is a dangerous duo, with Katarina turning into anyone she wants due to her devil fruit, and Laffy could hypnotize people. I've gone to say I think they're there for Vegapunk, and they might even team up with York, as Blackbeard and her kinda have a similar goal. She wants to be a celestial dragon, he wants to make his nation of pirates, so together they can form a dangerous tag team, and it can complete the parallel between Luffy and Blackbeard, with each of them having their own Vegapunk. But remember, Caribou is on the island. He knows about two of the ancient weapons. He did say he wanted to tell someone about this. I personally believe this person is Blackbeard, and this is a way to finally do that. But also, Marco and Miss Bakkin should be headed to Egghead as well. As you remember, they teamed up so she can prove that Weevil is Whitebeard's son, and remember, Stussy is a clone of her, and Miss Bakkin was technically a part of Mad. So, but that's about it. Let me know what you guys think. What do you expect to happen at the end of Egghead? What is this huge incident that's going to shock the world to its core? Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good day and a good night. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodles!